Well, welcome today to Round Glass. I'm Vishvapani Blomfield, and thank you so much for joining me in this session, exploring qualities of awareness in a series of practices around that theme. So, in today's practice, we're going to be connecting with our intentions, and the quality that we're exploring is commitment. Yep. So, awareness requires commitment. Now, the question that we've put in the chat is, have you ever overcome challenges to achieve an important goal? Okay, so we'd love to hear your story and please share that. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about my mum, who is someone I really admire. And my mother is now in her 80s, and she got to the age of 70 without learning to ride a bike. So she tried when she was a little girl, but then she got scared. Now, what I admire most about my mother is that she's always trying new things. Even at 80, she is trying new things. But the bike thing was there in her mind as this, oh, there's this thing I can't do. So she thought, right. And she enrolled in a local bike riding scheme. And she was the oldest person they'd ever had doing the scheme, and she just stuck at it, and they basically taught them to ride the bike going down a slope, a gentle slope, and she managed it, and she was able to ride a bike, although she did tell me that all the way down she was screaming. Anyway, it was a triumph, and the local newspaper put something about her in as the oldest person who'd ever done this locally. But it wasn't so much, the achievement wasn't so much riding the bike. The achievement was recognizing that there was something she was afraid of, and that was limiting to her, and then being determined to keep going, however difficult it was. So thanks for your stories about the things that you've achieved. And so what have we got here? Learning a new language. Okay, so that takes real commitment. Passing medical boards. Someone says they lost the baby weight. Well done. Or completed a marathon. And that's a long way to go. And someone else, this is a little bit like my mother actually. Someone else says they got over their fear of driving and got their license at 30. Okay, so well done, and it's great to hear all of those qualities. And I think what we can take from those sorts of experiences is just recognizing that when we've achieved things that are really valuable, it takes effort and it takes commitment. So how does that fit with meditation? You know, in meditation, we often talk about letting go, and particularly letting go of that sort of driven doing mode. And we emphasize being in the moment, being receptive. And the reason I think we emphasize that is that most of us are quite driven, and maybe that's something about modern culture. We're always trying to get somewhere else. But I think we need to just bear in mind that you can go too far in the other direction. And meditation is just about letting it all go. The other side of the equation is that we do need to make an effort, you know? We need to concentrate the mind, but we need to do that without forcing the mind, because that won't work. So it's about balance, but actually I prefer a different image to balance. You know, there's stuff on one side of the balance and something on the other side of the balance. In Buddhism and also in Hinduism, you have the image of the mandala. So mandala is a circle, a sacred circle. And the key to the mandala is that what's at the heart, what's in the middle of the circle, is the most important thing. So we can think of our lives as a mandala, as a sacred circle, and ask the question, what's in the middle of our mandala? What's the core thing that we really care about? Because we can often find ourselves putting energy and effort into things that are actually quite peripheral. They're on the edge of the mandala. So what's really valuable to us at the heart of the mandala? And then the next question is, what helps us to stay in touch with those qualities? Okay, so you don't have to put that into words precisely, but we do need to have a sense of it. And we can use meditation to do that. So this process of setting intentions is quite traditional, where people have meditated. In Buddhism, for example, we have a chant called the Refuges. And the Buddhists chant this every day, and it reminds us of our commitment. So let's settle in to the practice. And so all the way through the practice, we're going to be just connecting with intentions. And we can start with an intention to find a posture that will support the practice. So this is different from just sort of plonking yourself down on a chair and getting started. We want to have a posture that will support us and will support our intention to be present. So our intention is perhaps to be open and relaxed, so the posture needs to be supportive in that way. But the intention with any meditation practice also has to be about being alert and awake. So finding a posture that is also alert and awake, and that's a lot to do with feeling upright, feeling alert, and maybe your chest opens, maybe your shoulders fall back, the spine rises up as we feel the whole height of the body. And we can have an intention, although it's good to hold this quite lightly, to maintain this posture. So the body will naturally sort of collapse a little bit. You just need that intention of coming back to upright. Then bringing awareness to the body. Bringing our awareness to this moment. And again, I think that is a necessary part of the intention for meditation. And the mind, like a puppy, will wander, will run around, wanting to be here, there and everywhere, in the past and in the future. And the intention is like tugging on the lead, bringing the puppy back to go, because we're going on a walk. The intention is to stay on track. And we do this knowing that, puppies do run around a lot. So connecting with the breath, maybe we can take a deeper breath. Just feel the breath flowing in. Feel the breath flowing out, and that sense of letting go, that lovely sense of letting any tension just flow away. And the out breath supports that, encourages it. So here we are, we're settled. So what is my intention? So other questions might help us answer that first one. Where do I need to focus? And what kind of focus do I need? If my mind is quite busy or quite drifty, then I might need to be quite definite. So a good, definite and clear focus is a particular part of the breathing process. It doesn't really matter which part, but I'll direct us to focus on the breath in the belly. So feeling how the tummy moves, maybe noticing the skin brushing against the clothing. And adding another element about making this really clear and specific, we'll just play with counting the breaths. So just count up to 5, counting after each out breath. And I won't guide this, just explore how it feels to count after the out breath. From 1 on the first breath up to 5 on the 5th breath. And then you can start again at 1. So letting the mind settle in this way, coming to rest. And you may want to continue with the counting. If you find it helpful, it's just a guide. You're just using the counting quite lightly to help us stay with the breathing. And then asking another question. What do I need today, this moment, to be settled, to be rooted, to be aware, to be aware a little more deeply? What do I need? and letting an answer come. And we may experience that answer as a thought, an idea, a word. We may experience that answer as what we sometimes call a felt sense, a sense in the body, a knowing in the body. What do I need? We might experience the answer, the response, as an image of some sort. I need to be like a mountain. I need to be like the ocean, the sky, or a deep-rooted tree. So whatever this answer to the question, what do I need? Whether it's a word, a felt sense, or an image, or some combination. Just staying with that. Breathing, settling, connecting. So working in our own way with what's important for us in the practice. Working in our own way with whatever it is that expresses a sense of our intentions, our intention to be present and to go deeper. And as we settle into this response to the question, perhaps it opens out into another question. What do I want to bring into being in my life as a whole? What are the values I want to live by? So allowing space for this deeper purpose. And again, it may be a word, an image, or a felt sense that comes in response. What do I value in my life? What's my contribution to the world? What do I want to bring into being? And we're not concerned now with the practicalities. This is about intentions, deep intentions. So if these thoughts start you thinking about stuff, just seeing if we can come back to the moment and the sense or the image, the feeling of those intentions. So we're now moving into the final part of the practice, where we'll expand our awareness to include the body as a whole. Have a sense of the space we're in, the room, our environment, the light and sounds. Encouraging ourselves to make the transition just by introducing a little bit of movement, moving the fingers, moving the shoulders. Just again, in whatever way. So the intention is about the transition. And then just bringing the practice to a close, if that's what you want to do. And I think carrying on meditating through this final part and in your own time, that's great as well. You might just take what we've done together as the start of your practice if you want to do a longer practice today. So if you have finished, then we'll just take a few moments to absorb what we've been doing. So we've been focusing on intentions, and then commitment really follows those intentions. It's commitment to seeing those intentions through. So whatever happened, whatever it was, the practice is just to notice, just to be with it. So taking some time to do that. Now, in the practice, I was encouraging us to focus on different ways of relating to intentions. That's partly because, our intention probably comes as a thought or an idea. And so then what we do with thoughts and ideas is we think about them. But there are other ways to relate to intentions. You can just have a sense of them in the body, and images can really help because they encapsulate a set of thoughts without being in the language of words. And our intentions can be on a number of levels. Our commitments can be on a number of levels. The first intention may be simply to be present. And that is far from straightforward because the mind, like that little puppy, wants to run off here and there. So the next thing that follows from that is how I'm going to be present. So we were exploring at one point in the practice, well, let's just have a really definite focus focus on one part of the breath, and let's count it. Okay, so that's an example. It may or may not be right for you in any given moment. So it's about knowing how I'm approaching the practice and what I'm trying to achieve. But then, of course, our intentions and our commitments go a lot deeper than that as well. What are the values that I want to live by and bring into being in the world? And that isn't a philosophy lesson. That isn't what we're talking about here. It isn't really a profession of religious faith or something like that. It's a sense of knowing this is who I am, this is who I value, and this is what I want my life to be about. So the phrase that comes to my mind is a phrase I heard a Quaker woman use once. And that phrase is, what is my work today? So I'm pretty sure that she didn't mean, what have I got on my things to do list, and what meetings do I have set up, or anything like that. What is my work today means, in the context of a life, her life, I think, that was devoted to serving others and to serving God, because she's a Quaker. How will that express itself? How does that need it to express itself? So what is my work today? It's a phrase that stayed with me. I heard her say it a long time ago. And it's not about figuring it out. It's not about having a strategy, although that can be useful as well. It's about knowing what I have to do. So what I'm called to do, not even what I want to do. And meditation, of course, can be a time to reconnect with that purpose. What's important. And having that idea about meditation is itself an intention. So to finish, I'd like to share some verses that are composed by the Dalai Lama, but they're actually a sort of his version of very traditional reflection. It expresses the commitment that lies behind meditation. And in the case of the Dalai Lama and that tradition of Buddhism, it's a commitment to practicing for the sake of all beings. So that's my intention, is to help everyone. Infused by wisdom and compassion. Today, in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening, for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then, may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. So thank you for sharing this time, and please continue to explore meditation practice with us. Check out our daily live meditations at round.glass or on our app. Have a great day and stay in touch with your intentions.